I'm Jenny and I'm the course leader for English Literature here at Godalming College. When you studied English Literature at GCSE, you probably looked at some plays and some poems and some novels, and you might have looked at things like themes and characters and setting. Whilst we do that at A-level as well, we look at those texts in much more depth and we really scrutinise those texts. We're a team of really enthusiastic and knowledgeable staff who know our subject really well, but that doesn't mean that we're not keen to give you the freedom to express your own ideas as well. We really encourage independent thought and discussion and debate in our classrooms. So you'll have very little of writing notes down from PowerPoints on the board or memorising quotations, but instead lots of opportunity to explore ideas that you have and maybe even challenge others' interpretations, including our own.
Hi, I'm Dara and I study English Literature at Godalming College. I chose to study English Literature because I do love English. I found out that I loved English during GCSEs, and after that I really enjoyed studying books, different novels, different plays, and I wanted to study at a higher level.
I'm Leo and I study English Lit. I enjoyed English Lit at GCSE and I did really well in it, so that's why I decided to study English Lit at A-level. I find A-levels totally different. It's so much more in depth, and then from that depth you just get such an extra level of interest in the texts. It helps me just understand them so much more.
Hi, I'm Frankie. I study English Literature, Art and History. I chose to study English because I loved it at GCSE. It's always been one of my favourite subjects and a passion of mine. I love reading and I love sort of analysing things, picking things apart. But I think specifically at Godalming, the reason I chose here was because of the things that we study were all really interesting to me, all things that I was sort of really drawn towards. And then also the freedom you get within the course, especially with things like coursework, you get to choose entirely what you do, which is, I think it's something that not every college or sixth form offers.
So on the English Literature course, we study a wide range of texts, so you do really need to love reading to be successful on this course. We study 2 novels, so we look at Frankenstein and Never Let Me Go. We look at 2 plays, Shakespeare's Othello and also A Streetcar Named Desire. And we look at a collection of modern poetry as well in the first year. And in the second year, we move on to poetry from the Romantic movement. And we also give you the opportunity to write a piece of coursework, which is worth 20% of your final mark. In that piece of coursework, you can select any 2 texts you're interested in. And with our guidance, you actually select your own question and create your own line of argument, which we think is really exciting because, again, it encourages you to think independently about texts that really interest you.
I would say my favourite bit about English Literature is the study of plays. I also do drama as well, so I really like studying Othello and Streetcar, which are the 2 plays that we study. I also like with Othello that you get to have your own kind of critical analysis of it, and it kind of helps you to have your own ideas and not just ideas that your teachers have told you.
My favourite thing about English Lit at Godalming, I would say, is the level of support you get from the teachers.
My favourite bit about the course is probably the prose element, because you read the prose in the summer before you join, and so the lessons, for the first sort of 2/3 of lower sixth on the prose side of it are almost kind of just like a book group. You just sit and talk about your thoughts, and it's not like you're just reading through the book page by page every lesson, because everyone already knows what happens and you know which bits you want to talk about. So it's just very, not informal, but like it's very comfortable and everyone can sort of have their own opinion, and the teacher's just there to really guide it, not really to tell you the answer to anything.
In terms of a programme, English Literature fits really well with any other subject. So you might be looking at doing sciences or arts or humanities, and English works really well alongside any of those subjects because of the skills that you'll be developing on the course. So you'll be looking at things like persuasive writing and formulating an argument, as well as critical thinking and also thinking creatively as well as all of that discussion and debate that we've already talked about. They're also skills that we know employers value really highly as well. So whatever future pathway you have in mind, maybe you're thinking about a career in law or publishing or media or education or business, or maybe you haven't really made up your mind yet, English literature works really well for setting you up for the future.
At Godalming, the teachers are really nice. They're very involved and they want to help you get better. You can message them on Teams all the time and they'll reply to you. You can send them essays if you want to, and overall they just want to help you get better, and it's really nice.
They just make every single lesson engaging, and that just helps bring the subject to life in such a unique way.
The teachers on the course are really supportive. They're really great at letting you have your own view on things and not just shutting down a perspective, or like if you have a view, if you have an interpretation that's maybe not their interpretation, they won't just say that's not correct. They'll help you to develop that and to find the evidence for that and to build the arguments around it. And they'll help you to look at different perspectives, and they'll always be willing to like facilitate a discussion around things that aren't necessarily what they don't necessarily go into a lesson thinking these are the things we're going to focus on, but they'll let you find what you want in the text and then have like a whole class very engaging discussion about it.
So to give you an idea of what we do in classroom discussion, here are some of our students discussing some romantic poetry. To demonstrate that we don't just discuss texts and write essays, here are some students approaching Frankenstein in a creative way.
So what does each part represent? So we started with the outside, which is Walton's narrative, and around we've got like little snippets from all the letters. And then we sort of took the Chinese box idea and we started with the different narratives. So we've got Victor's, and we drew like little pictures, like depending on what's in each narrative and how they portray the story. Then we've got the creature's narrative in the middle, which I think is probably most important. We've got a little 3D element where it's a little chink in the glass where the creature's watching the DeLacy family.
After college, I'm going to study English at uni, and I'm very excited, and hopefully it all works out.
Planning to study human sciences at Oxford, so I'm going to do something almost totally different to English, but the insights from English will definitely help me in that. That's one of my also favourite parts about English, is that the insights you get from learning and understanding texts just gives you so much more ability to understand your day-to-day life and different scenarios in other subjects.
After I finish at college, I'm going to study English literature at university, hopefully, beyond just an undergraduate degree. I just had my Oxford interviews for English Lit, so we'll see what happens with that, but either way, I'm definitely going to be pursuing that subject as far as I can.
So, if you're curious about interesting and challenging texts and you really want to think about those big ideas that are within the texts, then English literature is the course for you. We hope to see you at our next open evening.